All right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another QuaranStream at Virginia Living Museum. My name is Travis, and what we're going to be doing is we're watching our lizards that we have here on our exhibit. Some of our smaller arboreal lizards, and they're going to be enjoying a little bit of an enrichment today. So we're introducing some different feeding items and just a few different ways for them to interact with something different during their regular feeding. So we've got a couple of puzzles for them to figure out today, and right now you're seeing our green anoles. And for those of you that were tuning in earlier, these green anoles were already enjoying some mealworms from their sort of hanging feeder that we set up for them. And we've got a few different hanging feeders in here with a couple of different special treats. So we're waiting to see if these guys are going to be able to figure it out, because this is a really great way to just mix up the regular routine of things, get them to use that mind, you know, just to try to keep them extra. The things that we would normally feed them today. So right off the bat, in this little structure right here, and these mealworms will be able to kind of wiggle around and fall down. You know, a couple of them will probably fall out, but the one that figures out how to get there, you know, will be able to enjoy some nice tasty treats. So we've got one green anole kind of checking it out right now. And we've actually got a couple of lizards in this exhibit, so I'll kind of talk a little bit about our these anoles that you're seeing in front of you, because anoles are a pretty fascinating type of lizard. They're very curious. They look very much like you know, one of their common names is the false chameleon. Actually, they don't share any relationship to chameleons, but they have a very interesting trait where they can change their color from this sort of brownish color that you see in front of you to a very bright green when they want to. And they that a little bit easier with their environment, or display what their overall probably be a little darker in color, but you know, that ability to change their color like that from those kind of two shades gives them that, you know, people think that they do kind of look like a chameleon in a way, but they actually are quite a bit different from those types of lizards. So green anoles can be found in the very, very southeastern portion of Virginia. But their natural range extends more along the Carolinas and further down south to Florida. So, you know, they're not ones that we typically see around here, and in fact their overall range has been affected a lot by the pet trade, because, you know, people that find you know, lizards like this, you can find them in pet stores, and a lot of times they just end up kind of catching a ride with something, or getting out of their enclosure. They're very good escape artists because they can climb so much. So it looks like we have a question. Madeline Kenry, so Silas, age 3, would like to know if they will eat ground worms. So yeah, they, you know, can eat, you know, any type of worm that they can find. As you can see, they're very aware of their environment. So see, this guy has already found that from way up on his perch. He was able to find that worm down here. So yeah, if they see a grub or something moving along the ground, they're going to go check it out, and they are lightning quick. So we also have another question. Rebecca would like to know, do they stay tiny? And yeah, they're a fairly small species of lizard. They, you know, this is about as big as they get. The one on the left is a male. The one on the right that was kind of bobbing her head That's actually a female. They're all very young, but they grow very, very quickly. So these guys actually hatched out late last year, and they're pretty much already to their full size that they would get to in the wild. They'll probably get a little bit bigger before all is said and done. But you know, Anoles are very prolific breeders. The female will lay eggs pretty constantly, and then once they do, you know, they'll grow very quickly and reach this full size within less than a year. So it's easy to see why Anoles have been able to get into places that they shouldn't be, because they, the rate that they can produce, that they can reproduce, is pretty incredible, and it's definitely a yeah. So they, I would just say they are very interesting, and Florida has a lot of anoles running around, and many of them are actually invasive because the green anole is native to North America, but other types of anoles like the crested anole or the brown anole especially, which is running all around Florida, is a non-native species. So you just got to be careful. These guys, like I said, they're escape artists, so they can escape from their enclosures with quite a bit of ease. And let's see, we've got our one of the other features of this species. We'll see if the male does it. I know I do. You saw a little bit of that head bobbing from the female, but the male has this bright red thing underneath his throat, and when they are displaying to each other, sometimes to other males, but especially to females during mating season, they'll extend that dewlap out, and that's their sort of visual communication that they do to each other. And it's a pretty it's a pretty potent and very stark color for them to see. So the males will do it as sort of a territorial thing, so that they can drive away other competing males, and they can have the ability to court any of the females in their general area that they want. And sometimes these displays will lead to pretty aggressive behavior between the males when they're competing for a female's attention. These types of lizards, you can find them around different, they are very graceful climbers, so they do occupy a lot of the more vertical spaces of areas. We have native 5-line skinks here that are one of the native species in our area, and we do have a couple in this exhibit, but they are new setup for them, so they might still be a little bit shy. They're hiding underneath that rock work that you see in the back. But 5 lines tend to they're the ones that people call blue tails, because they have that incredibly bright, shiny, almost metallic looking blue tail, and they lose that color a little bit as they get older. But one of their more dominant features is that they have these bright yellow stripes going down their body, and they're one of the native species that we have. Oh, here you go. You can see that bright red dewlap that the male is extending right now. Gorgeous color, and again, very, very stark, shade of red that really calls and grabs the attention of other males and females in the area. And that is their form of communication. So we've got one comment, Barry Davis, and just saying that you miss visiting us, and we definitely miss you guys visiting. We really are looking forward to when we can open our doors again and have you guys come in and see all of our amazing animals. We have another question from Matt. Do you leave the anole eggs in the enclosure or incubate somewhere else? So, you see here, inside of the enclosure, as the female that we had in here you know, was able to mate with the male, lay her eggs. They incubated, and then we, you know, got these amazing little anoles that popped up in the exhibit, and we, you know, just took the precaution to take them out just in case they were having, you know, we didn't want any aggression or any competition between them and the older anoles. But we do have the male and female in an enclosure in one of our ambassador rooms, and we're hoping that she can continue laying eggs with the male down there, and we'll try to incubate them outside of the exhibit. So yeah, so right now we're doing a little bit of both. Right now all the anoles in here are the offspring of those two mating pair. So I hope you enjoyed seeing our green anoles here, and again, I was hoping our other native or other lizards in this exhibit would kind of come on out, but we'll make sure that they don't miss out on any extra helping, you know, that they'll find eventually. So thank you all so much, and you know, as always, please continue keeping an eye on our website for any announcements going on with you know, any of our social media efforts, and of course any information about, you know, when we get closer to being able to open our doors to the public. Any announcements will be made on the VLM.org. So thank you all for tuning in, and hope to see you again at 2:30 today. We'll be doing another live stream. All right, see you next time.